through live in Flint, Michigan. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy Dave Edwards doing this documentary on the Flint water scandal crisis, murders and forensic files. We out here, man, and it's like, as I look at the water, it's ridiculous, man. Like that water is like the color of pea green, split pea green, like split peas green. And we need answers, man. This is ludicrous, man. It's just like Katrina. If you don't have enough money, if there's too many black people, then what the hell? Let them drink the water. They knew. 2013, they knew all about this water, man. They got emails. Shout out Governor Snyder. You say you didn't get the email. You got the email. Do you know Prince dead? Since you didn't get no emails.
Yeah, Glenda, thousands of pages of email. What was going on behind the scenes? And failure is now a word, not just with state staffers, but being used with the governor. Flint is predominantly black. In the email from his top aides talking behind the scenes, one writes, "Please call me so we can discuss. This issue is out of hand. I'm concerned about the implications that this may have racial overtones."
People are drinking bottled water. Okay, I understand that. Some people have filters. But like, what about the people who don't have a filter? Like, how the hell can you fill a bathtub up with bottled water? The water is cold or room temperature. Who wants to take a bath in 150 bottles of bottled water? That's the water we're supposed to drink with, but we got to wash up with it because the water from the shower is this. This the water coming out the shower if you don't have a filter. All the celebrities gave money. Big shouts out to them, man. This is like Katrina, man. And it's because it's black people in Flint. If this was like an all-white town, this would be fixed.
Problem with the drinking water in Flint. And the Snyder administration, so obviously not caring about it, spurred other people to action when they saw that the state did not care. A MacArthur Genius Award-winning drinking water expert drove 15 straight hours from Virginia Tech to start testing Flint's water. When he got the results, he went back to Flint and held a press conference on the lawn in front of City Hall to show Flint's water eating through an iron nail. He told the people of Flint, "Do not drink this water." A local doctor started studying blood samples from kids in Flint. Her results were scary and stunning. The proportion of kids with elevated lead in their blood was nearly double what it had been before the town switched its water source, just in a matter of a few months. In some neighborhoods, the danger had tripled, not doubled. The first guy, the professor, says the Snyder administration dismissed him as basically a huckster when he presented the results of his testing. The state described him as a magician who pulls the same rabbit out of a hat wherever he goes. The Flint doctor who tried to tell them that Flint kids were getting lead poisoning, the Snyder administration told people not to believe her. They said that doctor's results were spliced and diced. And in any case, the Snyder administration said those results were, quote, not related to the water supply. So relax, people. Drink your water. 6 glasses a day, they say. The Snyder administration held that line in public until finally they could not hold that line anymore. And then finally, after Flint kids had been drinking this poisonous water for 17 months, in late September, Governor Rick Snyder conceded that maybe, possibly, lead might be a problem in Flint, saying for the first time, quote, "It appears that water lead levels could be higher or have increased since the town switched to river water. There are, quote, probably things that weren't fully understood when the switch was made." You think? You think maybe some things went a little cockeyed here? And now the kids who grew up in Flint are going to have to deal with it the rest of their lives, with points irreversibly shaved off their IQs and learning disabilities and behavioral problems, irreversibly for their whole lives. You think maybe somebody didn't think this thing through? It appears.
So let me tell y'all something. The Honorable Coleman Young, our mayor from the 70s to the 80s, he told the people and city council, do not mess with the water. Don't do nothing with the water. Soon as we start trying to sell parts of the water off, they put their hands in the water and they sprinkling stuff in the water. Detroit was giving Flint the water. Flint said Detroit charged too much for the water.
So if anything went wrong with this new MacGyvered solution of getting the water from the river, well, now there was no going back. The emergency manager sold off literally the pipe that would let them go back to Detroit Water if for any reason they needed to. He basically sold the escape hatch, right? He sold the eject button. So Flint was committed to drinking from the river, this idea they'd come up with. The Detroit water, the water they used to be on, that was water from the Great Lakes. The water they were switching to was river water from the Flint River. And if you talk to people who know about this stuff, they will tell you that you do not switch from drinking lake water to drinking river water, as Flint did, without taking certain precautions. River water has a different chemical balance, which basically boils down to rivers being saltier than big lakes, and that makes river water more corrosive.
The pipes that are in people's homes, you need to pull all those pipes out of the homes and put new ones in there, whether it be PVC or whatever. But they need to have new pipes, because if you coat the pipe, the lead is still inside the pipe. It's going to eat through the coat or whatever you put on there. So once again, that might last 4 or 5 months. After that, people back jacked up. You know what I'm saying? I feel for the people of Flint, man, because Flint people are strong people. It's just like Detroit people, it's the same thing. We're 45 minutes away.
Adding to the water crisis in Flint, Michigan, more than 20,000 Detroit residents will have their water supply turned off. The city's water department claims those residents haven't paid their bills. Some critics have called the water shutoff a human rights violation. It's no surprise Detroit residents clearly are frustrated with their local and state governments, and they're fed up with all of the corruption.
We need a government that doesn't balance the budget on the backs of the poor and the most vulnerable, while giving tax breaks as well as economic incentives to folks who are in midtown and downtown and corporate entities. Look, water is a human right. If you don't have water, you can't take your medicine. You don't have water, you can't make your baby formula. You don't have water, you can't wash yourself. There's a sanitation and hygiene problem, potentially leading to a health crisis. Water definitely is a human right, and I don't understand how the city of Detroit can in good conscience shut off 20,000 on the low end, 40,000 on the high end, and somehow have no plan to mitigate how these folks are going to pay their bills.
Okay, so forever. It's like we're in this cesspool.
And it isn't, to me, safe to drink it off.
Water is not supposed to smell funky, mildewy, musty. That means there's something in the water. And what's in the water is this right here. Urine and feces. That's what this is. The green represents the feces. The yellow represents the urine. You combine those two together, you got split pea green. That's the color right there. Olive green.
White House Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough said that the White House is monitoring the water contamination crisis in Flint, Michigan very closely. Now, last week, the chief medical executive said that Flint's water is not safe to drink due to toxic lead particles, and Governor Rick Snyder has since declared a state of emergency for Genesee
Water
County.
at the state building is filtered. Flint U of M is right down the street. That's the University of Michigan Flint campus. They're not drinking this. The staff at the university is not drinking this, man. We're live right here, University of Michigan Flint campus. And we were thinking, let's see what their water look like. So we're gonna see what their fountains look, cloudy water inside University of Michigan Flint, which is right down the street from the Flint River. Let's check it out. Gotta be careful. All the people that blew the whistle, they ended up dead. How the hell that happened?
What happens when you go up against the global elites and you expose them for their dirty poisoning and killing of people? And now the cover-up murders begin in Flint, Michigan. Water treatment plant foreman found dead. Young mom murdered in her home after filing lawsuit against Michigan government. April 24th, about 7 days ago. These two people have lost their lives from the global elites. For those who wonder why, as the editor of Natural News, I carry a loaded weapon with me at all times, consider how often whistleblowers who threaten to expose Government conspiracy crimes end up dead. In just the last few days, a water treatment plant foreman who could have testified against the corrupt government of Michigan was found dead in his home. On the exact same day, Sasha Ivana Bell, who spearheaded a lawsuit against the government over the lead poisoning of the Flint water supply, was found murdered.
The body of Sasha Bell was discovered Tuesday night at Ridgecrest Village townhouses in Flint. An infant was found uninjured in the apartment, but it's not clear if that was Bell's son. Bell was a 19-year-old mother and the first to file lawsuits on behalf of the thousands of children poisoned by the water in Flint. Cops have not made any arrests or determined the motive. Sasha Bell's lawsuit alleges that her 16-month-old son suffers from lead poisoning because of corporate and government misconduct. She just wanted what was best for her son. Her New York-based lawyer, Corey Stern, told the Daily News Friday she loved her son. Stern said that Bell's lawsuit will go on despite her death. Stern says he's representing approximately 1,000 Flint children and emphasized their individual cases.
Flint, Michigan, back in the news, and I mean, you've been, of course, I mean, you've been amazing to your home state, your hometown, your whole life.
I just want to say thank you for that, but this is not a lead issue. This is not even an infrastructure issue. This was a decision made by a Republican governor to give the rich in Michigan $1 billion tax break, and then when they had $1 billion less in the budget, it was like, okay, what are we going to do? We got to cut back on services. Well, anybody got any ideas? Yeah, let's take Flint off the drinking water from the Great Lakes and make them drink from the Flint River so we can save money. Within a few months, they realized they were poisoning people, and the word came down, don't say anything, doctor the books, and they let people continue to drink this water and did nothing about it. And I think that is a crime, and they did it. I know they did it because it's a black city, it's a poor city. They wouldn't do this to Bloomfield Hills or Ann Arbor or Grosse Pointe. This was a hate crime. It was a hate crime based on this race hatred of this particular party.
There have been environmental disasters in white cities. Love Canal was not black. Love Canal was not black. Love Canal was not black.
One of the most memorable environmental disasters of our time occurred at Love Canal. Located on the eastern edge of Niagara Falls, New York, Love Canal was a community consisting of 100 homes and a school built in the late 1950s. But let's go back in time for a minute to understand what happened. In the 1900s, a short canal was built between the upper and lower Niagara rivers, which generated power cheaply to fuel the industry and homes of the city. Nikola Tesla's discovery of an alternating current changed this model, however, and the canal was no longer an economical option. By the 1940s, the canal was turned into an industrial chemical dump site for the Hooker Electrochemical Company. In 1953, the company buried the canal containing 21,000 tons of toxic industrial waste underground and sold it to the city for the amount of $1.
Yeah, but who really, once they discover Love Canal, that they've got a problem, everybody starts to work on it to try and fix it. Not in Flint. They went another 9 months hoping nobody paid any attention because, these are just a bunch of black people, poor people. They have no lobbyists. They have no money in this, and so to this day.
But you blame Democrats too. I mean, you're very hard on Obama.
I'm very upset that President Obama went there and drank a glass of water and said it's okay, everybody, to drink the water. It was just a stunning, sad thing to see happen, and
because he took the light off of it, you're saying you made people think
completely. Nobody's going to worry about it anymore. President Obama drank, but look at the picture on the front page of the Times. He's like, don't make me he's like, so it's really shameful that he did that.
And starting to realize that there might really be a problem. And the Snyder administration's message to an increasingly worried public was, relax. Relax, people. Jeez.
Let me start here. Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint can relax. There is no broad problem right now that we've seen with lead in the drinking water in Flint.
So that was the word from the Rick Snyder administration in July.
people that you're going to are black.